What is up, chat? We are back. Thursday night football, second half, part two. Facebook is working.
The duh.
Maybe.
Yeah, we're
It's-
looking good, baby.
Yeah, we're looking good. So, we covered the week 7 pick'em as we went through the first part of tonight's broadcast. If there's any games that you want us to touch on a little bit more, please let us know. I think we're going to spend our time here just kind of talking some fantasy football. Who's hot, start 'em, sit 'em. And obviously, commenting on the game as it plays out. Teddy Bridgewater with a couple dimes to start the second half. Maybe that's what they needed, was a little bit of a break and a few adjustments at halftime.
No, I'll be honest. The way that this team is coming out right now in the second half, this offense looks great. Honestly, though, you have to consider that. I think when you start a half, whether it's the first and second, that first drive, those first 10 plays, those are pretty scripted. So it's really going to be a testament as to how they can keep this going throughout this third quarter in particular, into the end of the game. But so far, they're doing a lot of things where Teddy's getting out of the tackle box quickly, as to not be susceptible to any kind of pocket pressure. Cortland Sutton making a couple of big grabs. I think he's already got about 30 yards just in this half. But Teddy's out here slinging it. Another first down, as they're in the red zone now, looking to get an opening drive score. It could be a lot of fun in the second half.
It'd be huge.
Huge.
Bruce, thanks for coming in with the like, as always. You the man. All right. And Bruce, he liked it from his gaming page and as himself. So B-Dub, A-Dub1, and Bruce Ivan Walker Jr.
Bruce always holds it down with like the funnest games to watch.
He plays a lot of things that not a lot of people play, and I think that's why he's so great.
Like one night he played Hot Wheels racing. It was so much fun to watch.
Shit was lit.
I loved it. Yes, I loved it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just it's a nice change of pace from the just FPS game that I play. So I need to get back to doing that and just playing different games.
Well, this spring you were doing a lot of fun stuff. You did the whole Resident Evil thing, and you were playing a couple of RPGs and stuff this spring. You were doing a little bit of that. Those were interesting. You did those in the morning, and did your Warzone at night. That's
I mean,
cool.
I loved streaming full time. I wish I could still do that. Yeah, it was great for a while it lasted. It was a great 7 months. I'm just blessed that I had the opportunity to take some time off of work and try to pursue something. That's still I still enjoy doing. It's a little bit more stressful now that I've got everything going on, but they're bringing God of War to PC, so I'm probably gonna hit that up, and because I started playing that before I got my PC.
Taking a shot. Oh.
So I'm gonna first down. Well, I'm behind, so.
Yeah, the next play, Teddy stays in the pocket, fights off some pressure, gives a little pump, tries to get Noah Fant in the back right corner of the end zone. Just a little overthrow here for the Broncos, looking at second and goal on this opening drive, which, as we started to say, has been very, very effective. The running game they haven't leaned on. Looks like Melvin Gordon is in this game now. We haven't seen any big sparks from him, but I think if you're the Broncos, putting up 7 is so much more important than a field goal right here. While points in general are big, you got to get a touchdown. Am I wrong?
Yep.
Yeah, you gotta get a sixer here.
That said, a little hats off to the Broncos defense. They haven't given up a touchdown since the opening drive.
It's true.
Yep. After that drive, they've looked very, very good. So it's time for the offense to step up and do something.
And it kind of goes back to the point that I was talking about. For the Broncos, the Browns came out with those scripted plays to start the game, and the offense looked very effective on those scripted plays. Then you start getting into your, the depth of your play chart, and start, getting into some off-script calls, some reactionary play calls, and they weren't as effective, clearly. And it looks like we have a touchdown Melvin Gordon III on a receiving touchdown from Teddy Bridgewater. That's what you need if you're the Broncos. That's what all three of us need, making the pick on the Broncos.
Teddy touchdowns,
Right.
baby. TT coming in clutch.
If you guys are joining us in the chat tonight, drop something in there. Let us know what game are you looking forward to the most this weekend, whether it's the Bengals, whether it's the Steelers, whether it's the Lions and that Matt Stafford matchup. We could talk a little bit more about that if you want to. But
I'm very excited for the Steelers game this week, Corey.
Yeah, that big bye.
Yeah.
You're gonna go undefeated this week, Bob.
Yeah, no, we're definitely not taking an L. That's for sure.
Nope.
Well,
staying at 500.
During the end of the first broadcast, you said you had some fantasy question marks this week. You want to walk us through your dilemma?
It's not so much question marks. It's just that I feel like I am a pretty knowledgeable guy. I'd like to think that.
Looks like Jaden popped in the chat. Bengals Ravens. He want Bengals versus Ravens, and it says FS at the end. I don't know if that's we can touch on it. We talked about it quite a bit, but it's a battle this week, and I know these two guys over here are itching to still talk about this game. So let's hear it. What do you guys? So Todd's mentionable from earlier was who's going to spy Lamar Jackson. He's aiming for Logan Wilson. Corey, you had a different perspective on that. I'm sorry, I cannot remember who you mentioned.
No, so
Von Bell.
Von Bell is right. Jaden, first of all, I appreciate you hanging up late with us tonight on a school night. Jaden, actually, I heard Jaden was interested in snagging up some line to gain gear. He first of all thought that the snapback was dope. That was fresh. This is coming from Sean. Jaden said you boys are about to grab some hoodies. You're about to grab some line to gain flat bills and all this good stuff. So we are going to revamp. We're going to get a new vendor for our merchandise, and we'll get it all set up so that shipping isn't such a hassle with all that stuff. And once we get all that going, that's a goal for us going forward. We will let you know, buddy. Don't worry. I appreciate you tuning in. I know you're a fan of the show, and I hope you share it with your friends right now here on Facebook. But Jaden, we were talking a little bit earlier. Me and Todd both took the Bengals. Bobby took the Ravens. And Todd we were kind of talking about who's going to spy on Lamar Jackson.
Who's going to spy Von Bell?
Yeah, who's going to spy Von Bell? The obvious choice is Logan Wilson. That is the obvious choice. And I think that's probably who it will be, being that he's the middle linebacker. You're in that spot where you're responsible for, between the tackles run game, over the middle passes. And whenever you run like a cover 2-man spy, typically that middle linebacker falls into that role where he's got his eyes on the quarterback. Linebackers can, your weak side, strong side linebacker could take running back, slot receiver, whomever falls out, out into tight end, whoever falls into that category. I just brought up the point that I thought it would be interesting to see Von Bell in that capacity as well. Something different, something unique, whereas the middle linebacker is typically what happens. Maybe if they went with a little bit of safety spy action, safety coming down and playing deep into that box, crowding that box a little bit, forcing the arm more, it could result in problems for the Ravens offense. And we talked about, first of all, the premise of the Bengals this year. Do you guys know what their slogan is? Inside the locker room, at least. I know Rule the Jungle is their stupid fucking hashtag that they have going on right now. But do you know what their philosophy is? The Zach Taylor philosophy for the Bengals?
I do not. It's
fat with a PH. We want physical, hungry, accountable teammates. That's what defines a Bengal. That's what Zach says defines a Bengal. And you hear
fat teammates.
Fat teammates, baby.
I like that.
Physical, hungry, and accountable teammates. That's what you want as a Bengal. So yeah, I love that. I absolutely just gets me the brick hard thinking about the Bengals with that mentality. So I think a big thing is that, obviously we need to control Lamar Jackson, but it's going to be the Bengals offense that really dictates the tone of this game. And Todd, you touched on that in the first half of the podcast. I want you to kind of revamp that thought process again.
Yeah, so I think the real key to the Bengals' success, and Corey talked about it as well last week after the Thursday night game, that you can't have a one half offensive performance consistently, and that's what Cincinnati's been doing all year, and unfortunately it's been in the second half. My opinion of that is the Bengals have to control at least 65% of the clock in the first half. And that has to be from the first drive. I think the first drive has to be at least 6 to 8 minutes long to keep Lamar Jackson off the field. He does most of his damage in the first and the fourth quarters. And number two, to kind of give the Bengals defense an opportunity to strategize a little bit more, because I think there's a lot of work that goes into getting ready for Sunday. But when you're in the trenches on Sunday afternoon, late afternoon, whatever, your strategy changes a little bit because you're watching that person in real time get ready for the game. So I think a lot of it's going to come down to ball control for Cincinnati. I don't think it's a shove it down your throat, get in the end zone as soon as possible approach. I think it's Joe Burrow's natural approach. Be patient, let the play come to fruition, get Mixon involved, and for God's sakes, do not always run the ball on second down. Get the ball in the air on second down.
They are one of the most predictable offenses in the National Football League right now.
And worst of all, on second down, pretty much.
Yeah.
And you want to convert on second down. Do you know why? Because you want to avoid third down. Defenses want you to get into third down. That's what they want.
Right.
So as an offense, on the flip side, you want to convert on second down so that you're not in that situation. You can open up the playbook a little bit more and get a little bit more creative and keep that defense on their heels. Jane with another comment here. He says, I wanted a hoodie so bad. I was going to rep the merch at school. I love hearing that. Jaden is a sophomore, I believe, at Oak Hills High School. So another little GMC love here. We're all Fairfield boys here, Jaden. So we appreciate the love, buddy. I mean, totally agree. And one of the comments that I made earlier is that, we are a first half team. And this is the reason why I'm taking the Bengals, is because we are a first half team. And we talked about it before the Packers game, that if the Bengals don't come out and play, we're going to be down 28-0. And, we're not going to be able to dig out of that. Well, that didn't happen because our defense answered the bell. And no pun intended, Von Bell being a big part of that. I think if the Bengals defense can rise up again in this first half and make an impact and allow the offense to get going, and put some points up on the board early, that's how we're going to win this game. And I really it's just a feeling I have. I don't know much more than what we've already articulated. I can say, other than the fact that it really just is a feeling. I feel a win coming this Sunday at 1:00 in Baltimore.
It's in my heart of hearts. That's what I kept saying. Somewhere deep inside my soul, I couldn't say the Ravens. It just felt that I feel the Bengals coming out and making the impact statement.
Yeah, I mean, look, the Bengals have a great opportunity to win this game. They're playing solid football. This is the best team that they've had in quite a long time. Granted, they're going up against MVP candidate Lamar Jackson, who's just playing out of his mind. If you can figure out a way to contain Lamar, you're never going to shut him down. You can only hope to contain him. But I think it's going to be a great football game to watch. Definitely going to be the best 1:00 game that is on.
I wish it was a Sunday night football game.
I would trade that for the Colts Niners 100%.
They're not in the flex period yet. It's only week 7. I don't know what week they start doing that flex You know what I'm saying? Where they start picking games from Sunday
based
night.
off schedule and
I think
yeah.
it's either
I'm gonna look this
it's
up.
always been like week 10 because that's when like wild card stuff starts kind of shaping up. That's when divisions start shaping up a little bit more. They always get past the halfway mark.
And Jane, while you're watching this, why have you not shared this yet? That's a problem I have. You share the video. All right. Per the NFL, flexible scheduling will be used in weeks 11 through 18. So Todd Urim was right on the money. Weeks 11 through 18.
And last year it probably was week 10, but now there's an extra week.
Good
So
point.
they probably pushed it back a week. Rob came with a comment. What's up, guys? How we doing tonight? Rob, we're doing great. This stream seems to be much more stable than the previous stream. Jaden coming in with a comment. I got you.
My boy.
No, we're doing great. We went through our pick'em. We're just kind of recapping. We're asking chat, if you guys have any games you want us to touch on or talk about this week. I know you're up in Chicago. Your Bears are on the road versus the Bucks. How do you think your Bears are going to fare against the old Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Mr. Rob?
Yeah, and I talked about that a little bit earlier, and one of the points that I made is like Tom Brady always has one game. There's always one game every season where he loses to a team he shouldn't lose to. Last year, do you know who they lost to in week 5?
The Bears.
The Bears. They lost
They
to
did.
the Bears in week 5 last year. We're in week 7 now. I don't know. I'm just saying. I still took the Buccaneers in our pick'em, but the Bears aren't that bad. They're not that bad, right?
They have the potential to come out and be powerful, right? Rob came with a comment. He said it's going to be ugly. Hicks and Mack are not practicing, so not looking good. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a big question mark right there. If Khalil Mack doesn't play, that game is over before it starts.
Yeah, that's your imposing force on the other side of the ball.
Yeah, I mean, Khalil Mack is one of the best linebackers in the league, arguably the best linebacker in the league. Dude's extremely talented. It always seems like the Bears just have absolutely just stud linebackers. I don't remember a time when they've ever been deficient or didn't have just like one of the best in the league.
Just a real quick update here as we're looking at this game. The Browns were faced with a 3rd and 3 inside the 10-yard line. I believe at the 6-yard line. Case Keenum in the shotgun, he dropped back. Broncos got some great pressure, and I believe it's Jarvis Landry so wide open he could have done cross-stitch sewing and not been touched before the ball got there, and the pressure just moved the ball. Browns going for it. Here on 4th and 3, we're going to stay live with this game. Case Keenum drops back to throw. He's got it open. He pumps. And he gets the first. Oh, there's a fumble into the end zone. A fumble into the end zone. The Browns recover. However, I do not believe you can fumble into the end zone for a touchdown. This might result in a touchback. I'm not entirely sure on how this rule works.
So, from my understanding, I think they would rule that a touchdown. The only way it's not if you fumble into the end zone is if the ball goes out of the end zone in any way, shape, or form. It's automatically a touchback and a turnover.
So the ball is fumbled. I believe since it was recovered by the fumbling team. First of all, great effort by Case Keenum here. He might have been down. He might have been down at the half-yard line. That said, but I believe if the ball was recovered by the fumbling team, I don't think you can advance the ball on a fumble. So I think it would go back to where the ball was fumbled, if I'm not mistaken. Chad, if you have any idea on how this works.
Let's take a look here and see if his knee was down.
Yeah, it looks like they gave him 1st and goal on the 1.5-yard line here.
He's down.
He was not down.
Wide open. So fullback, Todd, this is your dream right here. A fullback just rolled out. You got that.
Man.
Glory days.
Man, I'll tell you what. If Denver could have recovered that ball.
Whew. So Rob with another comment here. Akeem Hicks is one of the best interior linemen in the league when healthy. So it hurts when he's out. Yeah, I mean, and when you look at the Buccaneers, when you look at Tom Brady, actually, there's only one solution to beating Tom Brady. There's only one. It's not coverage. It's not outscoring him. It's pressure. It's pretty simple. It's pressure. You get in Tom Brady's face. You make him hold the ball. You make him try and scramble.
Yep.
That's how you beat him. And more often than not, he's been surrounded by exceptional offensive line play throughout his career at New England. When he went to Tampa, it was because of their offensive line. It was because their ability to go out and grab players with their money that they had available to shore up that offensive line and that defense. That's a pretty unbeatable combination. So it's gonna be about getting to Tom Brady. If you're missing two of your best pass rushers, two of your best defensive linemen, it's gonna be a tough test
For sure. Rob, appreciate it, man. Have a great rest of your night at work, and if we're still on when you get off, come back and hang out. All right. Did we?
Not only that, we're here every Tuesday and Thursday night, Rob.
Yeah. No, he's
true.
He's a prominent member of the Solace community.
Awesome. Appreciate you joining us, Rob. Have a good night.
Yeah. Rob, thanks for liking. Appreciate it, big dog. Did we get to your fantasy picks? Did we even touch on that? All right, let's dive into that a little bit.
So, and again, this isn't, like I was trying to say, this isn't necessarily about fantasy pick. I need you to help me set my lineup because
Jaden, thank you with the like as well.
I'm doing something wrong, right? I'm doing something wrong. So just let me roll it out here and show you what I got. What I got on my bench. I got two separate leagues. We can talk about it, talk about why we would go with one or the other. Then we're going to go with a line to gain lineup this week, and we're going to see how it pans out.
Ooh.
All right. So I got quarterback. I only got one quarterback on this current roster. This is just your standard half PPR league. I got Matt Stafford as my quarterback. My wide receivers at 1 and 2, I've got Mike Evans and Robert Woods, Bobby Trees. So
Bobby Trees.
Yeah, that Stafford Bobby Trees connection, man. My running backs for this week are Aaron Jones and Joe Mixon.
I also have Aaron Jones and Joe Mixon.
All right. So my tight ends typically are Knox and Schultz. Knox, obviously, with Buffalo, Schultz with Dallas. Didn't have anybody this week. So I had to go off the waiver, just go grab a free agent. I went with CJ Uzama. 2 touchdowns in the last 3 games, though. Or, excuse me, 3 touchdowns within the last 3 games.
Right.
I feel like the connection is brewing. Let's stop at the tight end thing and let's kind of dive into it a little bit and let's see who's available. And
you got to give me 3 tight ends that you think are of a similar caliber that are available.
So here's who's available. Seals Jones, questionable though. Evan Ingram, questionable for New York. I have a really hard time going out and getting anybody on the New York Giants. Jonnu Smith is available as well. He's obviously with New England, but splitting time with Hunter Henry, and they're going against the Jets though.
Right.
That offers a lot of upside. So we'll say Jonnu Smith, Hayden Hurst with Atlanta going against the Dolphins.
It's hard to pick Hayden Hurst when Kyle Pitts is there.
It is because
he's going to go to Ridley or Pitts before he go to Hurst, even in a red zone situation, or Cordell Patterson because he plays every position.
Anthony Fersker, who's not recorded a touchdown, you don't even know who that is because he's backup tight end for the Tennessee Titans. So it's really, in my opinion, it's between CJ Uzama and Jonnu Smith, and those are the only two. Just the only reason I'm thinking CJ is because I know the team, I know the connection with Joe Burrow. He's, again, 3 touchdowns in the last 3 games. Obviously 2 against Jacksonville, 1 last week against the Lions. I don't know. What do
Yeah,
you
your
think?
options are super limited. So you're right. I think you don't take Seals. Um,
Here's the reason why I think CJ Uzama is a great play this week for your situation. Um, to your points, the Bengals need to possess the ball a lot. So what that means is that means a lot of checkdowns. That means a lot of short passes. He's a big target who can run a great 5 to 8 yard route and is going to be open. I would probably say 80% of the time.
yeah, see the problem is that he's not Burrow's check down. That's like primarily Uzama is not even the third option. He's the fourth or fifth option.
Yeah.
So, but I don't. Hunter Henry, I believe, has the most touchdowns on New England as a receiver. It's either him or KJ Bourne, or not KJ, whatever, Kellen Bourne. Yeah. Jonnu Smith very rarely gets in the end zone. It has to be a play action, like 1 to 3 yard pass. And I'll be honest with you, when I think about when you look past the is my tight end going to get in the end zone? Joe Burrow is going to get in the end zone more than Mac Jones is, right? At the end of the day. So
sure.
I think Uzama is your best available there. I don't think that there's anybody else there that you can't really. There's not a clear
take
winner,
the homer pick on this one and just ride those Poncho vibes, baby.
Poncho vibes. So now we get into the interesting part of my dilemma, and that is my flex. So out of all the people that I have available here, I'll list them out. I've got Callaway with New Orleans.
Okay.
Mecole Hardman, Kansas City, going against the Titans. Callaway, obviously, the Saints going against the Seahawks there. T. Higgins. And then Chase Edmonds, running back for Arizona, going against Houston.
Here's the thing. T. Higgins is either going to have 25 points or he's going to have 2 points. Right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Most of the times it's, the 2 points are in my lineup and the 25 are on my bench.
Yeah.
I'm kind of leaning towards Chase Edmonds, man. I like him in a flex spot. I think that there are so many wide receiver weapons in Arizona. And now an additional tight end weapon with Zach Ertz also being there. James Conner and Chase Edmonds consistently week to week have been in the double digits. Because I have one in one league and one in the other league. And I've made the mistake of benching them both and trying to kind of play the odds and see which one's going to play week to week. And I've been burned. I was burned the first 3 weeks, but I've just been playing them both, and both of them have scored double digits the last 2 weeks.
So he has gone down over the last couple of weeks. I mean, he started the season excellent, did Chase Edmonds. 12, 10, 11, 17 points. Week 5, 2.5 points. Week 6, 7.5 points. Teddy Bridgewater taking a big shot there. It looked like it didn't feel good either, and there's a flag down here on a 3rd and 2 to start the fourth quarter.
Can you who was the third on that list that you had after Marquez?
Mecole Hardman.
Wide
receiver, Kansas City, playing on that.
I don't like him in fantasy. I don't like Hardman in fantasy. I had him last year too, and he was my Callaway of last year. I just kept waiting out for him to have a bigger week, and it just never happened. I mean, Callaway is a good option as well. I don't know.
Man, that's tough, man.
It goes back to you got to trust. Do you trust Jameis Winston?
Yeah.
Right, and I trust Kyler Murray more than I trust Jameis Winston.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, my play would be Mecole Hardman. I think the Titans are going to score, and they're going to score a lot of points, and Pat Mahomes is going to be throwing the ball a lot. Pat Mahomes hit 6 or 7 different receivers last week. Mecole does have the ability to get the long ball and make something out of nothing. So I would take a flyer and play Mecole Hardman.
Okay, so I had Chase Edmonds in the lineup. Bobby's giving me McCole Hardman over Chase Edmonds. Posing it to you now, chat. Who are we taking? Is it going to be Chase or McCole? Because I think Todd is telling me Chase.
There's
Bobby's telling
three people here. Who do you feel you want to play?
I feel like the Cardinals are going to go up big on Houston and lean on the run. But I also feel like the Chiefs are going to get into a pissing match with the Titans. And throwing is going to be a big part of that game.
That's the only reason I'm playing devil's advocate here, because I think the Chiefs have the opportunity to score 25, 30 points.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the Cardinals have that ability too. That's the thing.
I mean, your logic is correct with that game, because they're going to get up big and they're just going to run the ball and eat the clock.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well,
so I'm playing Connor and Edmonds.
Who scores better in your league typically? Is it running backs or receivers?
So it's half PPR, so it'd be running backs.
Then it's no question I play Chase Edmonds.
Yeah.
No
I
doubt.
think that's what we're gonna go. Chat, if you Chase Edmonds versus McCole Hardman as a flex this week. Chase Edmonds playing Houston with the Cardinals, obviously, and McCole Hardman with the Chiefs playing the Tennessee Titans. Argument is that Chase Edmonds being a running back, if Arizona goes up big, they could lean on the run. He could get more touches, more opportunities, particularly by the goal line. Argument for McCole Hardman is Chiefs and Titans is probably going to be an offensive shootout, and could be more opportunities for McCole Hardman to score there. So interested to hear what you guys have to say on that one. So the other question then that I have currently in my lineup for my defense, I have the Las Vegas Raiders, who of course are playing Philadelphia Eagles this week. So taking a look at available defenses, I want to hear if you think there are any better options out there for me for defenses. So the top projected point scoring defenses will give you the top, let's say 5, and see what you say. New York Football Giants taking on Carolina. Atlanta taking on Miami. Seattle taking on New Orleans.
Nope.
Miami taking on Atlanta.
Nope.
The Chiefs taking on Tennessee.
Hell no.
And I'm just going to throw another one out here. The Bengals taking on Baltimore.
I think you got the right defense in that lineup, man.
Yeah. You have best available.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So
the 5 that you listed, all of them made me feel uncomfortable as you were saying it.
Yeah, I wouldn't. No, I would probably. I mean, so in my one league, defenses can score negative points. I would, if there were no other options available, I would even contemplate just not playing a defense. I would rather take the risk of. I'd rather play it safe and not lose any points.
Yeah, I don't think that's a. I mean, if I'm up big and the only thing I have going is my defense, I'll typically sit them.
Yep.
All right. Well, I appreciate the insight there. So the only real thing that we're worried about is the McCole Hardman versus Chase Edmonds tidbit here. Browns look like they are going to convert on a 3rd and 1, up 10 on the Broncos here as we tick away time off the 4th quarter, getting a 1st and 10 here for the Browns.
Yeah,
Ernest Johnson has looked very good.
Yeah, quick, very quick.
I'd say he's seeing the field very well. You know, he
was an Alliance guy, right? He was in the Alliance Football League, I believe.
Oh, really?
I believe so. And he got
111 total yards of offense from Ernest Johnson tonight.
And he got to play last year against the Cowboys. And he had a decent game. But yeah, I think he might be an American Conference guy. I think he's either like a Central Florida or a South Florida guy. Don't quote me on that though.
Browns are just rolling right now.
I do have some more stuff for my other league that gives us some different positions, some different spots to
I have a questionable flex. Well, not a questionable flex play. I discussed it with Todd before you got on here. I have the option. So the running backs that I have in this league, I have Aaron Jones, Joe Mixon, Cordero Patterson is somehow listed as a running back, and then Herbert for the Bears.
For what it's worth, Cordero Patterson has been their leading rusher in the game this year, so
it's fair.
He's a running back.
So I've got Aaron Jones and Joe Mixon, RB1, RB2. And then flex spot, I've got Patterson and I've got Herbert on the bench. Does Herbert have a better game than Cordero Patterson against the Buccaneers? And Patterson's got the fins.
I just like running backs in general, particularly starting running backs. I think I would go with Herbert.
Isn't that what you said too, Todd?
I said almost verbatim the same thing. I said you have to take the guy that's going to get more touches.
Yeah.
Herbert has 30 opportunities to score. Patterson has maybe 12 to 15.
Yeah, it's true. But I mean, outside of week 1, he has scored no less than 16 points a week, Cordero Patterson.
Yeah.
He has had a good year. He's been a nice addition to a average Falcons offense.
He's the 8th ranked running back points wise in the league, in this fantasy league. Khalil Herbert obviously hasn't had the opportunities. Yeah, he's played 2 full games at the helm, and first one was 18 for 75, no touchdowns, 7 points. Last week versus Green Bay, 19 for 97 and a touchdown for 18. So
yeah, he had over 100 yards of offense last week. He
had 15 receiving yards as well. I have to go with the law of averages here and play Patterson just because he's been more consistent.
I can appreciate that. I do think that you get to watch. I think Herbert is going to produce as well, though. I'm not saying that Patterson won't.
Oh no, yeah,
it's a good problem to have.
I'm gonna be upset though when Cordero Patterson scores 18 and Herbert pops off for 30.
So I'm in a much different situation. I'm picking like the worst of the worst here. So the running back situation in Seattle is obviously Chris Carson is out. Not only that, Alex Collins, who was their starter last week, he is out going into this week, or probably going to be out. He did not practice today. So that would leave DJ Dallas to be their starting running back. Who the fuck is DJ Dallas, right? That said, Rashad Penny, he's back.
The former Auburn Tiger, Rashad Penny?
He is back off of IR, 3-week hiatus on the IR. He's back, full participant in practice today. He will get action per Pete Carroll. He will see action in their Monday night battle. I just want to give you what they said here. He's been off the field ever since being placed on injured reserve on October 2nd. But on Thursday, former first-round pick returned to practice as a full participant, and Seahawks head coach Pete Carroll is confident he'll see action in the team's Monday night bout with the Saints. That said, he will see action. Is he going to be their bellwether, blue chip, their starter? Is he going to be the number one guy that's going to be getting all the action? Or is it going to be DJ Dallas, who in his considerable role against Pittsburgh logged 9 points? Week prior against the Rams, 5.9. I'm in a real tough time at running back right now in this league. This, again, is my dynasty league. My other running backs that I have in this league are Zach Moss, who's on a bye, Chris Evans, who is a backup, Travis Etienne, who's on injured reserve. And again, I'm keeping Travis Etienne because this is a dynasty league. I will keep him into the coming years. And my other starter is Aaron Jones. So DJ Dallas is my current starter. That said, let's take a look at available running backs and see who might we go with. Kenneth Gainwell.
Nope. Never trust.
Kyle-
You don't trust an Eagles running back right now.
Kyle Juszczyk going against Indy. Le'Veon Bell. Salvin Ahmed. Ramondre Stevenson.
God, dynasty leagues are so deep in running back. It's uncomfortable how deep running backs go in a dynasty league.
It's bad.
Yeah, that's a whole different level of thought process that I have not even touched.
So for what
Yeah.
it's worth, the second name he listed is a fullback. So not.
No, I know that. I was like, Juszczyk. I'm like,
That
No,
said,
that's what I'm saying. I'm just saying that's the depth of how far this goes in as on like when you're doing dynasty.
that said,
Is Rashad-
he's the second listed in terms of projected points. His last few weeks, 6.5, 8.1, 15.1 points. Obviously, they had a bye last week, so
He's found his way in the end zone, I think 3 or 4 times this year.
Kyle Juszczyk.
Yeah. They use him as more of like a. Remember how Washington used to use Chris Cooley?
So he catches a lot of passes.
Yeah, that's how they use him. He's not really a blocking fullback.
He's not a rusher either.
Chris Cooley, great
No.
name drop.
Thanks, man. Feel pretty good about that.
Okay, so basically Kyle Juszczyk or DJ Dallas.
I think DJ Dallas is the pick. I mean,
Okay.
I don't think Gino's gonna be a major producer. They're gonna have to get a little bit of something cooking on the running game. I don't think Rashad Penny
Plus,
maybe-
Pete Carroll loves
maybe
to
get-
run the ball apparently now.
Rashad Penny's more of a goal line running back. That's kind of how he's been utilized the majority of his career when he's been healthy,
Right.
because he's a bigger, like more built running back. And Dallas is a little bit like he's a smaller guy, right? My memory serves right.
DJ Dallas is we get some stat. He's 5'10", 214. So yeah.
Yeah. And when we watched when
That's
they
a
had
pretty
the
stocky 5'10" though.
it is when we watched the Thursday night game, he caught a couple balls out of the backfield as well. So I think he's the better move there. You put Juszczyk and you're praying that he gets in the end zone on a 5-yard pass.
Sure.
You're not guaranteed any real offense there.
All right. So I need you to pick 2 for these wide receivers as my starters. Two similar names from our last discussion. And the reason why I have to justify this because these are my other starters. Actually, no. I had Will Fuller. He is now on IR. I'm hanging on to him, just hoping. And because I had the IR slot available, so why not hold on to him? All right, so pick 2. McCole Hardman. Again, Chiefs facing the Titans. T. Higgins, Bengals facing Baltimore. AJ Green, Arizona facing Houston. We have Kenny Galladay, but he is very questionable. Christian Kirk, wide receiver, Arizona, going against Houston. And then Marquez Callaway.
Damn.
Well, I think AJ Green, play the numbers. He's been their leading receiver.
Yeah,
he's
been Kyler's favorite target. That was the first guy that stuck out to me. And then the next one, just pick one out of a hat, dude.
What stops you from playing AJ Green and Christian Kirk?
I'm not playing 2 receivers on the same team. That's my own.
It does kind of.
It's counterproductive, personally, because I think the Cardinals get up big quickly, and you got to put your eggs in one basket.
We said that about the Texans when they played the Browns, and the Browns didn't do that, though. Right? I mean, we said that was going to be a blowout, and Houston's defense played Cleveland pretty well, and they had to go to the air for most of the game. And Christian Kirk and AJ Green have both been in the end zone the last 3 weeks. I'm just playing devil's advocate. I just want to hear.
No, that's good. So AJ Green over the last 3 weeks, 18.9, 2.3, 17.7. That said, prior to that, 16.6 and 13.3. So AJ Green, I think, is the number one right now. Behind that, you have T. Higgins. Again, feast or famine. Looks like the Broncos went for a third. There was a 3rd and 1. Broncos rushed ahead for the first down on a QB sneak with Teddy Bridgewater. So Broncos, if they score here, they're within a field goal. Need a stop to make things really interesting here to wrap up this Thursday night game. Again, another good primetime game.
Good primetime game. Not overly exhilarating, but it's been close.
Yeah. So why not Marquez Callaway?
I don't think he's a bad pick. I just wanted to hear your thought process on playing 2 wide receivers from the same team.
No, I can appreciate that. I think I'm going to go AJ Green and Marquez Callaway. I had it as, for what it's worth, I had it as T. Higgins and McCole Hardman. But I switched out T. Higgins and McCole Hardman just because I'm scared of McCole Hardman, and I'm scared of T. Higgins because I just can't play with my heart.
And Callaway is really Winston's only target, right? Besides Kamara, because Smith is hurt too.
Michael Thomas is out. Marquez Callaway is going to be the number 1. So
yeah. McCole Hardman is the Lee Evans of the 2020s. You put him in your lineup, he sucks. He's on your bench, he scores 80 points.
Yeah. Denzel Ward here coming up, grabbing his left hamstring. Could just be a cramp. Don't want to look too much into it. But that is a major asset on that defensive side of the ball. Real quick update here on the NLCS. We're on the top of the 7th, and the Dodgers are beating that ass. They're up 6-2 on the Braves, which is the worst possible thing that I could ever see happening.
Chris Taylor has, with Justin Turner getting injured last night, injuring his hamstring, Chris Taylor decided that he was going to be the heart and soul of the Dodgers lineup. I believe he is accountable for 4 of the 6 runs for LA tonight.
Yeah.
He's also had a great postseason. Chris Taylor has, was the reason they beat the Cardinals, and also was their leading hitter through the Giants series as well. So good to hear a name that doesn't make $300 million per year paying your dividends,
right?
And has played every position.
So I got my tight end. I'm pretty locked up. I got Darren Waller at my tight end. I'm not.
Yeah, you don't mess that up. Somebody, in one of my leagues, somebody dropped Darren Waller. I picked him up it took me no time. I saw his name and said, okay, well, this is stupid. And I just picked him up. I don't need him. I have Travis Kelce, and I have both.
Well, I have
bye week.
Yeah.
I have Darren Waller and Kyle Pitts.
You're in a good spot.
Yeah.
And this is your dynasty league too,
this
right?
Is my dynasty. So
you're in a really good spot.
My flex, I have Kyle Pitts as one of my flex. I'm not taking him out. So it's really down to the other flex position. So again, McCole Hardman, Saquon, if he plays, he was absent again from Thursday's practice, so I'm not counting on it. So
I don't think he plays this week. Same way with Galladay. No way Galladay plays this week either.
Right. So McCole Hardman, Chris Evans, Kenny Galladay, same deal. He missed practice again today. I'm not counting on it. So McCole Hardman, Chris Evans, Christian Kirk, T. Higgins. Or you could explore who is available in the flex position right now. Let's take a gander. Nelson Aguilar. By drop.
Dropping all him babies like Aguilar.
Darius Slayton. Is he gonna remains limited at practice?
Yeah, I was gonna say he probably isn't gonna play. So for what it's worth, I have Sterling Shepard in like 3 leagues because he averages like 9 catches a game.
Because he's all they have.
That's it. That's their only option. And Devontae Booker.
Sterling Shepard is not available in this league. Teddy rolling out, slinging it. Nice catch. Cortland Sutton again.
He's had a good game. Had a slow start, but he's had a good second half.
Jalen Rieger is available. Not doing much.
He's hit and miss. He gets one big play every 3 weeks.
Yeah. Khalif Raymond for Detroit.
Nope.
Johnny Smith. Dante Harris. Kendrick Bourne is available. He's actually not put up bad numbers. So here's Kendrick Bourne's last 4 games. Against Dallas, 14.5. Against Houston, 6.8. Against Tampa, 10.8. Against New Orleans, 21.6.
Yeah, he's Mac Jones's favorite target. Him and Hunter Henry.
So
Jacoby Myers, and Jacoby Myers has not scored. At one point in time, he is actually their leading receiver and has not seen the end zone yet.
Right.
For what it's worth.
So at this point, do I pick up Kendrick Bourne? Who am I dropping if I pick up Kendrick Bourne? Because I think I like him at my flex for this week over McCole Hardman. Or do I keep McCole Hardman in there?
I was gonna say if you don't have that confidence in Hardman, I would just drop him.
Really?
Because it doesn't sound like you're ever gonna play him. You're never gonna have
Right.
that confidence to put him in the lineup. So why have him on your roster?
Makes sense.
Yeah,
Like
I would also
Tatum.
keep. I would keep T Higgins over Hardman if I were in a dynasty league.
I agree with that. I think Higgins has better upside.
Okay, so McCole Hardman versus Christian Kirk.
Kirk's on the waiver wire, and I think both of my leagues. There's just not a lot of confidence for him. He's been good, been decent. I would say he's been consistent, but they're not like big games.
Yeah.
It's hard to have big games when DeAndre Hopkins is on your wide receiver core too.
And AJ Green, and now Zach
Yeah.
Ertz.
Right.
I think
What did Philadelphia get for Zach Ertz?
Draft picks.
so. Would you drop McCole Hardman or Christian Kirk? Which one has more upside long term?
Or Cole Hardman?
There's just not any room for Christian Kirk in that Arizona offense unless they have major injuries.
I
So
would agree with that.
Because by the time, say, AJ Green plays for 3 more years,
Yeah.
Christian Kirk will also be considered a veteran by that point in time. So it's not like he's going somewhere else and he's
And they
fresh
have Rondell
legs.
Moore.
right.
Yeah.
I always forget about him. He had a great week 1 and has been almost radio silent since.
So I'm adding Kendrick Bourne, dropping Christian Kirk, but I'm keeping McCole Hardman. You know what? No, I'm putting Kendrick Bourne in there. They're going against the Jets.
Play the matchups, baby.
That's what we're doing.
matchup central. Todd, do you have any fantasy dilemmas this week?
My life is an absolute shambles in fantasy football, boys.
Dude, I'm
I have-
that's
I
why
have so
pulled
many-
this out.
I have so many fucking people on buys that I have just been, and so the problem is that I'm doing well. So I'm in 4 leagues that I pay for, right? In Josh's league, I'm in first place. And another league, in my brother-in-law's league, I'm in first place. And a third league that I'm in second. And then in the other league, this is where it gets really funny. I'm in dead last, and I have not won a fucking game. I'm 0-6. It is the worst start
Me
in
too.
fantasy football history for your boy. And the problem is now it hit the waiver wire so hard. I have no idea what to do with my lineup at all. And I'm embarrassed to bring it onto a public platform to even discuss it. Because every week I am just scrambling to try to figure out what I'm going to do.
Well, let us help you. Let us help you.
Yeah.
So Teddy Bridgewater and the Broncos, 1st and 10, looks like ball tipped at the line there. But they are in the red zone here, looking to go up, bring this game within 3. And I should note that another injury has struck the Cleveland Browns as Denzel Ward is officially ruled out for the rest of this night's game with a hamstring injury.
That's tough. That's tough for your secondary.
Yeah, and
all right.
Honestly, that is his story so far in the NFL.
Yeah,
he can't stay on the field.
And Todd, I feel your pain. I'm tied for second place in one league, and I'm dead last in the other. So, yeah.
So for this team, here is my lineup this week.
Is this your 0-6 team?
This is my 0-6 team.
I'm ready.
It's not terrible. I exaggerated because I'm just so frustrated because I felt like I crushed it in this draft. And I sat here and talked my shit to Mary the whole time I drafted, about how well I did. I had all this strategy, and I'm 0-6. So my starting quarterback this week is Tua, which I don't feel great about. Because my normal starting quarterback is Josh Allen, and I don't ever draft 2 quarterbacks in most leagues unless it's Josh's league. My wide receivers are Cortland Sutton and Calvin Ridley. Running backs are James Conner and Mike Davis. My tight end is TJ Hawkinson. And then my 2 flexes are Sterling Shepard and Marquez Callaway. So I am missing Nick Chubb, Deontay Johnson, and Josh Allen. And then Laviska Shenault Jr. sometimes.
So I don't hate the Hawk pick, though. I like Hawk right now because they're going to go down and they're going to throw a lot, and he's one of their only options.
Right, which is why when I drafted him, I got him in the 9th round. And yes, super late, because nobody wanted to draft anybody from Detroit.
I mean,
and so when I drafted him, that was the start for me. I'm like, Mary, I just drafted this tight end. He's their only offensive production. There's nobody else there. And then I got Callaway, or I got Shepard after that. I got Mike Davis in the 11th round. Nobody had picked him up. I thought I had this great draft. And then every week something has happened where somebody's gotten hurt, or, losing Nick Chubb has been significant the last 2 weeks. Last week I lost by 9 points. And I scored 164 points, and I lost by 9. So that's another part of this league that's been really frustrating, is that I am the 3rd leading scorer, and I've given up 270 more points than anybody else in the league. So
everybody's having their best week against you.
Right. And I've played the same dude twice, and the dude has scored the most points in the league both times he's played me. And he scored almost 200 in this league, which is ridiculous.
It's crazy.
So that part sucks. I feel like that's kind of been my crux, is that I feel confident going into every week. I spent all this time, and then I just cry myself to sleep.
Oh man. Yeah.
Meanwhile,
I just can't seem to get it together in Josh's league. So Corey, as we've talked about, in this league, you can play 3 quarterbacks and you can house 5 on your roster.
Wow.
So Bobby and I were talking about this beforehand, that there has to be a change for that.
Yeah,
because it's getting to the point now where if you draft 3 quarterbacks in the draft, and your best quarterback gets hurt, you have no chance of winning the league,
because you can't go out and get anybody.
And you would have to make a trade with another one of your best players to get a run-of-the-mill quarterback, an average quarterback. So then you're screwed. So
and that's where I'm at. I took a different strategy. I went running backs and receivers this year. just to try to mix it up, and it's obviously working out pretty well for me.
It has not gone well for Sir Bobbert. No, he is in last place.
Dead last. By myself.
So we got 6:30 to go. Broncos on the Browns 11-yard line. It is 4th and inches. Obviously, the Broncos are going for it. You have to. You don't want to kick a surrender field goal here. You got to stay in pace with the Browns. They're lining up, and looks like 2 tight end set. Bringing in guy in motion, bringing in tight again. Going with the QB sneak with Teddy touchdowns. And based on the spot, I don't. One ref is giving it to him, one isn't. That ref is spotting the ball. Looks like it's going to be a first down. I don't know if he got it. And they are signaling a first down here for the Broncos. I don't know if he got it based on. Okay, so from that push, yeah. Looks like he got it. Broncos hurrying up here to try to run a play. 1st and goal from the 10. It looks like they get the ball off. They're going to run a play here. Teddy throwing to the end zone. Incomplete. So it's going to be 2nd and goal. So I got a fun little thing for us to do as we wind down into the end of the game here. I need top 10. So on Tuesday night we did all-time rushing leaders. What I'm looking for right now is all-time receiving yards leaders. Top 10.
Ooh. All right.
That's the number 1.
Jerry Rice.
Sir Jerry Rice himself.
Jerry Rice, and it's not even close.
Nope.
Jerry Rice has over 5,000 yards on the next guy who is active technically.
So who is what?
Here's
active.
It is
Larry Fitzgerald.
Can I answer? Yes, it is Fitzmagic himself. Terrell Owens is definitely in there.
Terrell Owens is 3rd. You guys are 3 for 3 right now. So Terrell Owens with 15,934. To clarify, Jerry Rice has 22,895 receiving yards. Larry Fitzgerald 17,004, and then
ridiculous.
Theo at 15,009.
All right, so here's the deal. There's got to be at least one, if not two, Peyton Manning
touchdown, receivers. Broncos! We are within a field goal after this extra point, ladies and gentlemen. This is getting
spicy.
I know one Colts wide receiver for sure, Marvin Harrison, because his son goes to Ohio State, and it was boasted all over every message board. The 9th leading receiver of all time, Marvin Harrison's son, true. Marvin Harrison Jr.
He is number 9. So you've got 1, 2, 3, and then 9.
So Reggie Wayne would be my other guess. Is he in the top? He's at least in the top 15.
Let's see, Reggie Wayne. Reggie Wayne is number 10. Reggie Wayne is number 10. So we got 1, 2, 3, 9, and 10.
So now we got to fill in 4 through 8.
I was so embarrassed on Tuesday that your boy has just been deep diving in his stats. I'm on the treadmill, getting a physical fitness in. I'm looking up stats. I'm not coming up on this bullshit of not knowing anything anymore.
What about Sir Lynn Swan?
Nope. I don't think he would be. He's at least top 20.
He's not.
I just want
he's not top 20.
Steelers love in there.
So
I got to do Control F to find this guy.
Okay, well then he's not even close.
How do you spell his like SWAN?
2 N's, I believe.
No, not even.
Is Andre Johnson in the top 10?
He's number 11.
What about Megatron? Ooh. I don't think he played long enough.
Calvin didn't play enough. He's not in the top 10.
So, I think we're forgetting somebody really important. And I'm.
You're forgetting somebody very.
Randy
important.
Moss. It's got to be Randy Moss.
Randy Moss is number 4.
Steve Smith.
Steve Smith is number 8. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 9, 10. You need 5, 6, and 7, and this is gonna be tough.
So I know.
What about Torrey Holt?
Nope, it's not Torrey Holt. But there is a tight end in this list, and it's Tony Gonzalez.
That's true. He's number 6. Tony Gonzalez is number 6. Let's see if there's another
5 and
tight
7
end
now.
Close. The next closest tight end. Antonio Gates at 30.
Is Tim Brown in the top 10?
Tim Brown's number 7. Wow. I am very impressed.
Dude, I told you, I can't be shit in the bed on a public platform and then not come strong.
Come out hot.
I know the last one, Bobby. So I'm gonna give you an opportunity to answer it.
Oh, man.
I to be fair, I literally looked at this when I couldn't sleep on Tuesday. I just started digging into stats.
Damn you.
I was wondering how you're ripping all these off like that. I was like,
We're doing
damn.
another
Yeah.
one that I know you're not prepared for.
Just embarrassing me right now.
I would because I looked at 6 different things, and that's the one that stuck out.
Is
the
this
most.
somebody is a more recent player, or is this an older player?
Yes.
More recent
More
player.
recent in like our lifetime. So going with a new one here. This is Rheingeist Mathlete. This is a low-cal IPA. Never tried it before. I'm going to give it a shot. Again, Rheingeist, if you're watching tonight, please, you can sponsor us. We will accept that.
It is available in Columbus.
Oh, let's think.
Easy drink?
AFC, NFC?
Yes.
Which one?
He did. He played in both.
Yes.
He
both.
played in both. Okay.
Yeah.
Never won a Super Bowl. You hear him every Thursday night.
It's got to be. Yeah, I was gonna say Chris Carter.
Oh, no. You hear him
Not
every,
Chris Carter.
In fact, we'll see him after this game. He hates the Bengals.
I feel stupid right now. I should know this.
Bald.
Why am I drawing a blank
Congratulations.
right now?
Junior. No, excuse me, senior.
Senior. I'm completely lost right now. I'm drawing a blank.
Panthers and Ravens.
I thought we already said Steve Smith.
We did.
Yeah, I said Steve Smith.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. I'm looking at it now because I knew who it was. It's the number 5 leading receiver.
Oh, my bad.
That's why I was thrown. I'm like, wait a minute, it's not Steve. We already said that.
Okay, I totally led you on the wrong path, and that is
Whew.
my bad. But yes, still, nonetheless, actually, I believe it's 100% NFC.
It is.
100% NFC. Yeah. Greatest show on turf.
He's okay. So it's the Rams. It's not Torrey Holt. Who was the other guy? What's his name?
Book of the Bible.
It's not Isaac.
Yep. It is.
Yes.
I'm trying to remember his name. I know it's Isaac.
Bruce.
Isaac Bruce.
Yeah.
Isaac Bruce. Wow.
Isaac
He's
Bruce
number
is
5?
5. He's at number 5. He actually
Well, he
only
played for-
finished with
Wow.
70. Excuse me. Pardon me here.
Dearness Johnson with a fucking baller run. I just saw that.
84 yards less than Randy Moss.
Wow.
He
For
played
a
for-
long time.
He should come out of
Yeah, 16
retirement and
years.
catch like 6 balls.
He literally played for 15 years, which in wide receiver terms is
A lifetime.
$1 million.
Yeah, 30.
Yeah.
Double it.
Wow. All right. What's the next one you got, Corey?
All right, I gotta look this up. Let's see here. We're gonna go real deep. No, it.
Bruce came in the chat and said Romo.
Tony Romo.
When we were discussing, we'll see him after the game.
I'm surprised Jason Witten wasn't higher on that list.
I can look it up real quick. Just bear with me. I can get you.
You're good. I'll
Jason
look it up
Witten.
afterward. Because he played for forever, too.
Yeah. Browns moving the ball down the field, doing exactly what they do to do to put this game away. Let's see. Here's an interesting one. All-time touchdown leaders. Todd, did you look this one up?
No.
Good. Stop it. Put your phone away.
Are we doing top 10?
Top 10 all-time touchdown leaders.
I'm going to say LaDainian Tomlinson's on that list.
It's got to be mostly quarterbacks.
No. This is receiving or rushing. Quarterbacks don't count.
Okay.
Is Tomlinson on that list?
Yes. LaDainian Tomlinson is third.
Third, okay.
Emmitt Smith.
Emmitt Smith is number 2.
Is Jim Brown in the top 10?
Jim Brown is number 10.
Is Randy Moss on that list?
Randy Moss is number 4.
So this
You
is
have
wide
2,
receivers
3,
and running
4,
backs?
10. It is wide receivers and running backs. You have 2, 3, 4, and 10.
Is Tony Gonzalez on this list?
Tony Gonzalez is an 18th. So
Okay. He's on the list, just not that high.
Jerry Rice is number 1. He's the leading receiver of all time. He has to have the most touchdowns.
Jerry Rice says he has 208 touchdowns. Emmitt Smith,
Wow.
who you already named, at number 2 has 175. So he's got Emmitt by a
right.
solid 33 touchdowns.
So T.O.'s got to be on the list too because he was an end zone shark.
Terrell Owens is number 5. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Is AP on that list?
Adrian Peterson is not. He's number 12.
12.
He missed it by 2 touchdowns. And you know what? He's still technically an active player. He could come back and play and get into the top 10.
Good.
You know who I thought? It's not right, but for some reason Mike Allstott jumped in my head, but he clearly didn't run the
Nah.
ball long enough. I would just like for a fullback to be on a list like this.
Yeah.
In the same line though, is Marshall Faulk on there?
He is. Marshall Faulk
Yeah.
is number 7. Good
Dude,
call.
when he was on the Rams, he scored all the time because Kurt Warner would just push down the field to the 2-yard line and then just basically hand Marshall Faulk a loaf of bread and just say, take care of it for me.
Yeah. I don't think he's on there, but because I don't think he stayed healthy long enough. But Sean Alexander, I don't know. He just didn't stay healthy long enough.
Sean Alexander, though, he is 17th on the list.
Man, I'm getting all the 10 through 20. Does that count for anything?
Just awesome job.
There's got to be – so it's by process of elimination, there's at least one Colt from Peyton Manning. So it's either Reggie Wayne or Marvin Harrison.
Which one is it?
It's got to be
Marvin Harrison.
It
because
is Marvin Harrison.
he-
They set the single season touchdown record, so it's Marvin, or all-time
Yeah.
touchdown record, like combination or something like that.
Yeah.
Marvin Harrison is number 9. So you guys have gotten Jerry Rice, Emmitt Smith, LaDainian Tomlinson, Randy Moss, Terrell Owens. That's 1 through 5. You got 7 with Marshall Faulk. You got 9 with Marvin Harrison and 10 with Jim Brown. I don't know if you're going to get 6 or 8.
This is an absolute flyer. Brian Westbrook.
Brian Westbrook is not on the list.
I think ooh. And we said Randy Moss already, right?
Yeah, he's.
Are they more recent or
No, Randy Moss is 4th. I'm sorry.
Bruce came into the chat? Marcus Allen.
Marcus Allen is number 6. That is one that I
No
did.
shit.
Marcus Allen. I did not think
I
you were
would
gonna
have.
get
I
Marcus
would have
Allen.
never got.
Big shout out to
Marcus
Bruce.
Allen.
Yeah.
That's a
Well,
That's a Raiders fan through and through, right
yeah,
there.
exactly. That's I was waiting. I was waiting for that.
All right.
that specific
So I
one.
think I have the last one. I think.
Okay.
So it's got to be a wide receiver. and I think it's got to. Is it Chris Carter? Because Bobby
Chris
said
Carter.
him for yards. Yes.
It's
So
Chris Carter.
there's
Excellent.
an ESPN short that interviews Dante Culpepper and Chris Carter, Randy Moss, and there's one other person. But Dante Culpepper said that Chris Carter is the easiest person to throw the football in the end zone because he never had offensive pass interference called against him, ever. He never had a play called against him, no matter what. So even if he pushed somebody, they never called a penalty against him because he was just such a likable guy.
Yeah.
He was in the pockets of everybody because he's such a schmoozer.
But now he thinks that what was it? Oh no, that's Chris Broussard. I'm so sorry. I was going to say that he thinks Taylor Llewellyn plays for the Bills. But hey, Rob is back, ladies and gentlemen, just in time for the end of this game, likely into the stream here with a minute 32 coming back up for the Browns. But Rob is back. Rob, we appreciate you jumping back on the stream, man.
Man, Marcus Allen, huh?
Yeah, that's an awesome
cool.
Call.
I don't ever think about him as being an all-time great at running back, but he really was.
Played for enemies too. I think there's a 30 for 30 about that touches on that about Marcus Allen playing for the Raiders and then going and playing for the Chiefs and kind of the big one of the more underrated rivalries I would say in football is Raiders Chiefs.
Yeah.
I wish that
it's been there's been a lot of inconsistencies in their timeline of both of them being good too.
That's true. That's very true. I mean, the Raiders were really, really good in the early 2000s. Then the Chiefs were dog shit. Then the Chiefs were really good. When they started getting, that Priest Holmes, I think it was Trent Green era.
Trent Green, yep.
And then the Chiefs went down.
Also had Dante Hall at that point in time. Returning kicks and punts and just that's him and
wow, veteran move here by D'Ernest Johnson. Could have taken it in for 6 easily on this run. There's a flag on this 3rd and 2 play, which would be huge because it could give Denver a chance to get the ball back. Whether or not it's going to be enough time, post field goal, etc., is another thing. But D'Ernest Johnson clearly could have ran right into the end zone and took a seat. So we got 1:09 left in this game, 3rd and 7. Browns with the ball. You got to think they're putting it on the ground, milking as much time, seeing as Denver has no chance to stop the clock. Case Keenum, that said, is lined up in a shotgun formation. If the Browns throw here, just tell Kevin Stefanski to pack it up and go home. And they run, and D'Ernest gets a first down, which will seal the deal. The Browns will move to 4-3. The Broncos will fall for their 4th straight loss.
And the three of us 0-1.
So, earlier when I said who is, fraudulent enemy number 1, it's the Denver Broncos. I'm telling you, they are frauds. They're not a good football team. They have not beaten a good football team. They have not beaten a mediocre football team. The only teams they have beaten are the teams that we laugh at. Washington, New York squared. That's it.
Also, what a game for D'Ernest Johnson.
Game ball, 100%.
How about Case Keenum?
Yeah,
he managed the game.
Right, that's exactly what I was going to say. We talked about it for Burrow for Sunday. Case Keenum did exactly. They had the ball for 85% of the first half.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see. Bruce with a comment here. Good. Fuck the donkeys. It's funny, Bruce, at the beginning of the stream. That's what I said. I said I'm gonna pick the donkeys in this one. I went out to Denver for a Bengals game, and that was the slur that they taught me for the Broncos is the donkeys. That's what you got to call them. So I'll carry that going forward. Reaffirmed by Bruce. Appreciate it.
Unreal. The Browns won a huge game.
Yeah, good for them. I mean, that's
absolutely huge for them, especially with all that injury.
If you're a Browns fan, you are overly satisfied with winning tonight.
Who do they? I got to look at who they have coming forward because I'm not sure Baker's gonna come back. I'm just it's something in me that just tells me that Baker is I don't know that he's gonna be back. So going forward, they have the Steelers, then the Bengals, then the Patriots, then the Lions. Not necessarily a murderer's row. Followed by that, they have back-to-back games with a bye week in between against the Ravens.
Yep.
Then they have Raiders, Packers, Steelers, Bengals to end the season.
That's tough.
It's not, but it is, but it isn't. I mean, it's not. It could be a lot worse.
Well,
a lot of divisional games in there. So,
well, that's what I was going to say. But you're playing. I mean, this division is shaping up to be one of the strongest in the NFL too, right? So, if we're talking about, Pittsburgh being the weakest link between those four teams. And Pittsburgh has played above average most weeks outside of some early game mistakes against
the Bengals
Cincinnati.
They were just like their roster had AIDS, so
right, yeah. But I think the big thing. So I mean, do you just park Baker for the rest of the year and let him get healthy?
Go get Wham Bam Cam. No, please God, don't do that.
Fully vaccinated Cam Newton.
I think the Browns would make an ill-advised decision to bring Baker back this year.
Yeah, I mean, he's your franchise. That's your quarterback going forward.
Yeah.
You already know that. Like, is Baker Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers? Is he Justin Herbert or Joe Burrow? I don't think so, but he's good enough. He's good enough.
Yeah.
And in a year where or not necessarily in an era right now, where there's so much parity in the quarterback position. There's so much parity.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's the haves and the have-nots. To have somebody that is even close to the haves, you got to hold on to it. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
100%.
So
you could have, Zach Wilson back there.
Jameis Winston.
Yeah. I mean, it could be
Mills Davis, Daddy Longneck at the helm. Davis Mills. Sorry.
You could have the honor of having Jared Goff run the show.
Jared fucking Goff. No, thank you.
Boys, it's been a
long night. It's been a good night.
Well, outside of the technical issues, it's been a great stream.
Yeah.
We've had a great conversation. I feel completely redeemed from my lackluster statistical performance from Tuesday. I can actually go to sleep tonight after the podcast. Yeah. I'll be honest with you guys. Last Tuesday after the podcast, I slept very poorly. And it wasn't because of Declan. I take a lot of pride in myself being a statistical driven man of sports.
You do.
I throw around a lot of numbers, and I got showed up. I can't do that.
Well, you redeemed yourself tonight, and I want to give a special shout out to everybody that stuck with us tonight. Everybody that came through on the second half of shows, guys, is you guys hanging around and talking with us and communicating through us, with us rather through the chat and what do you want to talk about? That's what we want to talk about. We want you to be engaged and we want you to enjoy the show. So we really, really appreciate everybody hanging out for the second half, and should be an interesting weekend of football. We're excited. We didn't do much college football, but maybe we'll recap a little bit of that next week on our Tuesday program after we recap the football. So we really appreciate everybody hanging out with us tonight. If you don't already, follow Line to Gain. We will be doing a live broadcast sometime soon from Ring 'em Up, maybe World Series, maybe Game 7.
So Saturday, Bobby and I are going to set up shop for me on my computer. So the plan is once the shop is set up on mine, I will basically host with your guys' of course invitation for both of you to join me, and I'll kind of lead the ropes on the inaugural Ring 'em Up podcast. We will talk all things playoff baseball. Specifically, by then we will likely have the World Series decided. So
beautiful.
We can talk World Series. We can talk future. A lot of crazy stuff going on in baseball still that we haven't even touched base on in weeks. So I'm really excited to get all of us together to do that and talk the sport that I personally love the most.
No, it'll be a great show. So make sure that you tune in.
Yeah, looking forward to it, guys. Again, thank you for hanging out this night. We are out of here. You can catch Line again Tuesdays and Thursdays. Ring them up coming soon, and then in the post, we'll be debuting very soon. We out of here. Peace.